How did the Militia Act of 1903 define the National Guard? Imagine a time when the United States was seeking to modernize and organize its military forces to better respond to internal and external threats. The Militia Act of 1903, also known as the Dick Act, was a pivotal piece of legislation that aimed to bring structure and coordination to the country's state-based military reserves. Prior to this act, state militias operated with varying degrees of organization and discipline, often relying on volunteer units with inconsistent training standards. The law established a formal relationship between the federal government and the state militias, which would later be known as the National Guard. It clarified that the National Guard would serve as a reserve force that could be called into federal service during national emergencies, such as wars or insurrections. The act defined the National Guard as the organized militia of each state, which would be under the command of the state governor but also subject to federal authority when called upon. It mandated that members of the National Guard receive regular military training and adhere to standards similar to those of the regular army. This was intended to ensure that the Guard was a ready and capable force capable of supporting the regular military when needed. Furthermore, the Militia Act of 1903 provided for federal funding and support for the training and equipping of the National Guard. It established the principle that the federal government could assist states in maintaining their militias, thus fostering a more unified and professional reserve force. The law also set out procedures for the mobilization of the National Guard, including the process for federal activation and the conditions under which the Guard could be called into service. In essence, the Militia Act of 1903 formally recognized the National Guard as the organized militia of each state, with a dual state and federal role. It laid the foundation for the modern structure of the National Guard, emphasizing discipline, training, and readiness, while ensuring that it could serve both state and national interests effectively.